Salutations everybody, it is Maddie here, and as you guys may know, I've covered a decent amount of Fable 4 here on the channel. I was really excited for the reveal to hopefully happen during the Xbox Game Showcase, and my dreams came true. They ended the show with this very game, just like I had predicted during my Xbox Game Showcase predictions. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my hype for this game, well, it was so high that I screeched like a prepubescent. Dude.
Yes! Fuck yes! Let's go! Yes! Let's go! Yes! This has to be it! Yes! Let's go! Come on!
And treacherous villains.
My heart's racing right now. This has to be it. I have to see the title card. I have to see the title card before I
Not all stories have happy endings.
before I really freak out. Yes! Let's go! Yes! Oh, fucking thank God they did it.
Yeah. One of these days I'll be able to freely roam the earth without the fear of my voice shattering into a million pieces and looking like a complete and utter idiot. I'm 25. It's still happening. Anyone have some answers as to when this will finally stop? I'd really appreciate it. But anyway, you guys are here to talk about Fable, okay? Not my voice cracking. So let's talk about it. We finally got a teaser trailer. We know it exists. It's from Playground Games, as it had been rumored since 2017. But now that it's sort of digested, the whole experience, it's come down a level, and my hype has started to simmer. One, because of a very important rumor we're going to talk about in this video, but also it's mostly due in part to how Microsoft revealed this game. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I've been begging for a Fable reveal since it was rumored from Playground Games back in 2017. All right, so don't get me wrong there. I wanted to see Fable. I was upset at last E3 that Microsoft didn't come out with anything for Fable, but it's clear now that this game is further off than we had expected. I know the rumor's been that it's a 2021 game. It's being built from the ground up for the Series X, so that is understandable. But if all they're going to show us is a title card and the teaser trailer doesn't really give us many indications of what's happening with this game, what type of game it even is. Even Obsidian's Avowed told us a little bit about what the game was. We knew the universe, we knew what style of game it would be, which is a first-person RPG. And I'm not a fan of CGIs, don't get me wrong, but at least there you could get a concept in mind. When it comes to Fable, this supposed reboot maybe, it doesn't seem like we have much to go off of, just the confirmation and the title card. And so there was that exhale when it finally happened. I remember I was on the edge of my seat during the Xbox Game Showcase. I was all invested because every announcement I wanted was happening. This was the last one, the last check on the box for Maddie himself. Maybe everyone else was different, but for me, I just needed to see Fable, and this would have been a A+ show. And that's what happened. But as time has gone on, seeing that it was just this brief 10-second teaser, nothing else, has lowered my hype level. But what's kind of lowered it a little bit more is this possible rumor. And now, I don't want to be a person who chases around rumors that may be to a game's detriment, but this one seems to have a little bit of credibility, so let's take a look and discuss. The following information comes from ChronoTK over on Twitter, who is a French games journalist. Now, there's been some translated tweets that have popped up over on Reset Era, and what we're seeing here is, since my last tweet, I know things, many things. If my sources are reliable, you don't want to miss tonight's announcements. This was referring to before the Xbox Game Showcase. There will be more happy than disappointed. I repeat, quote, if my sources are reliable, end quote. And then he proceeded to quote this tweet and post what he had been told by his sources. Forza Motorsport Next Gen, Halo Infinite, Fable MMO, RPG Obsidian, Hellblade 2, Stalker 2, State of Decay 3, Tell Me Why, Tetris Effect Multiplayer, Warhammer 40k a la Vermintide, Dragon's Quest 11, Phantasy Star Online 2, Everwild. So, yeah, if you've noticed here, he got everything right. Everything's right. So he even got State of Decay 3 right. And that to me was like one of the wild cards where you're like, I don't know about that. State of Decay 2 just got a huge DLC update. I reviewed it on the channel, right? The Juggernaut edition. So to say State of Decay 3 was coming, something like Dragon Quest coming to the Xbox, making its debut, that's huge. It may not be the biggest announcement in the world, but these are the types of like inner workings where sources can be really helpful. And the fact that he got all that right and that Fable MMO is on that list, and we did get a Fable game, but we don't know if it's an MMO, is a bit worrisome because I don't think any of us want a Fable MMO. I will remain open-minded, but I just wanted a single-player Fable game, as I think a lot of us did. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this rumor brought me back down to earth pretty quickly because I thought, okay, we know Fable exists, but I don't want to get so far ahead of myself on what this game is. So I thought it was really, really important to share here on the front end of the video. And also, he doubled down after. And for the greatest happiness of @SireGopil, a game in the world of Fable, but in MMO. Sorry, not Fable 4. So he's saying right here, guys, still an MMO, not 4. Now, with that being said, I'd like to take a look at the tweet from the official Fable account. Playground Games tweeted upon the reveal of Fable, "Beyond excited to announce we're making Fable, a new beginning for the legendary franchise." Now, I may be reading too deep to between the lines here when it comes to Fable and its announcement, but they're saying new beginning. That could be completely different from what it has been, which is a single-player RPG series outside of Legends. We don't talk about Legends here on this channel because, for obvious reasons, online and Fable don't really work well together. But new beginning could also be what had been rumored for a while, which is a reboot. And normally I don't give these types of rumors any form of oxygen because I feel like it's a waste of time, it's a waste of discussion, and you may as well just talk about something else. But with this and the consistency of this supposed source, if they knew all of that, right? Tell me why. Tetris multiplayer, you know, the State of Decay 3, and then you got a Fable MMO there, you got the Obsidian RPG there. Like, some of those were easy guesses, like Hellblade 2, of course. We didn't see as much of Hellblade 2 as I expected. It isn't all bad news, however, because a couple of industry insiders and journalists have come out to try to debunk the rumors about a Fable MMO, but we're not quite out of the gate yet because it seems like there are still going to be online elements. Clobril, who has a really good track record with Xbox information, says Fable is an open world action RPG. People really need to stop with this MMO nonsense. Even if there potentially will be online interaction similar to Forza Horizon 4, it is not an MMO. So the Forza Horizon series always had shared world elements, like you'd see ghosts racing against you, but it had no direct impact on your gameplay, and the game wasn't really based around it. Windows Central also came out and said the following: "For anyone who is concerned about not getting a proper role-playing game, your fears are unfounded. Multiple sources familiar with the plans for Playground's take on Fable have confirmed to us that it is an action RPG, one that you can play in single player. There may be online elements like co-op functionality or limited optional shared spaces, but nothing to the extent that would justify classifying the game as an MMO." I'm going to be honest, everybody, the wording here is a little fishy, and I may be reading too deep because they're saying it can be played in single player, not it's single player only, and that there is going to be some online elements like shared spaces, but it's not going to classify as an MMO. So it does seem like the online elements are roughly true. It's just not directly an MMO according to some sources, while one who is pretty on the money for most of the showcase says it is. So we have conflicting reports here, and Microsoft, this is what happens when you show a game that's just a title card and nothing else. Rumors circulate, people get concerned, people get excited maybe, and we're left all in the dark. But yeah, man, like, it was one of those situations where I was like, oh boy, this could be right, and it could explain why it's taken so long for them to make this game, and it fits with one thing that Microsoft's really been pushing. They've been all about games as a service. They've been all about pushing for that Xbox Game Pass. They want everyone in on that program, right? We're seeing them blend PC and Xbox together. They almost seem disinterested in pushing the hardware onto. It seems more like an exclamation point to the games they're trying to sell, and everything we saw during the games showcase was available on Game Pass. So if they have a first-party MMO that's available through Game Pass, that inflates your player count, man. Game Pass is a tremendous success and only continues to grow, and I imagine it will still be growing by the time we get around to Fable, and that will lead to stuff like, say, Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves has become wildly successful for both Rare and Microsoft. Remember when that game completely tanked at launch? It is a phenomenal success now. Tons of players, tons of updates. It's so much better. I have yet to go back to it, but I've heard wonderful things about Sea of Thieves. So I feel like it's in Microsoft's interest, if they're doing games as a service, it makes sense for them to say, hey, let's put a service within our service, because when people buy into the Xbox Game Pass, they get Fable, they get a catalog of huge games, and if they're buying into Fable services, like a subscription fee or in-game cosmetics, that's money that also goes to Microsoft, so it's a double dip. It makes so much sense for them to make this into an MMO or some type of games as a service, which I know is like grating on people's ears. I'm with you, man. I don't want to talk about this type of stuff, but I feel like there's a degree of legitimacy possibly to this until we hear some official comment or more sources corroborate what's happening here. But I just wanted to go ahead and put people on watch, because I am super excited for Fable. I'm still excited because I do like MMOs. I just made a 2020 review for Star Wars The Old Republic, so I do enjoy them. I love going back to RuneScape every now and then. Elder Scrolls Online was a game that was a part of my coverage on the channel for a long while. I think I gave it about 4 years of coverage. So there are MMOs that I have no problem getting attached to, and so I'll remain open-minded to Fable if it were an MMO, but it definitely does devolve what the game can do, right? We thought about things like open world, being able to make choices and having the world react to them. One thing I highlighted in my SWOTOR review was that it allows you to make choices and you can feel the impact of your choices only in this self-contained area. You know they could be so much bigger, but because of the structure of what the actual game is, it can't do what you would really hoped it would. So any game could really fall into that pit. And if Fable's an MMO, it won't have the earth-shattering choices that have come with prior entries in the title. Like I said though, and I want to really just keep emphasizing this, I'm gonna remain open-minded. I have my fingers crossed that maybe they give us something really good, whether it is an MMO or if it is the reboot like we had hoped. But I just want to go ahead and pass on the information that I had seen crop up and been sent my way. It is just a rumor at this point in time, but I think it's a very important rumor to cover because it's from a pretty seemingly accurate source. So let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. I'm really curious to get your thoughts on this. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all of the patrons who continue to flood it with all of your support on my content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.